How are you, BookTube? And welcome to a tag video filmed on Tag Tuesday, probably not uploaded because of broadband speeds until Wednesday. And we are going to do two tags that have the same original creator. So it's the A and the B tag by Jim's Books, Reading and Stuff. I was tagged in the A tag by Nadine of Tomb Raider, and the B tag by Alan of Big Heart Books and Classics. And I have a feeling I might have been tagged in the A tag by somebody else and I've forgotten. So much for my system of writing it down in the notebook. Doesn't work if you're in work and you don't have the notebook with you. Only watch YouTube during work breaks or while filing, just so in case my boss is watching. So without any further ado, I was going to film in the bedroom, okay? But pets are supposed to come up in both of these tags, so I'm deliberately filming with the I'm filming on a phone though. I'm filming on a phone. With the budgies there and some bookshelves there that are budgie protected. All of this will be relevant as we go. So, starting with the A tag. Question 1. A is for America. What do you consider the great American novel? Now, I haven't read that many American novels that would be considered literary. So I had to look up somebody else's list on the web. And the first book was Moby Dick. I've DNF'd put Moby Dick about 3/4 of the way through. That's a long book. And 3/4 of the way through, I decided it was not up to scratch. But their second listing was The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain, or Samuel Clemens was his real name, wasn't it? Is that right? Did I get that right? The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn has the remarkable achievement of being the only book that I had to read for school that I actually kept reading for pleasure. There was a time I could quote from this book. I loved this book. It took a little while as a 15-year-old to get used to the vernacular, but probably because of this I've had no problem with, like, I read loads of Caribbean literature recently, no problem with getting into the sound of somebody else's use of English since then. So I really must read this book soon. That's what these tags do to me, so I must really read this book. But there was one time where I could even quote from this book. A is for arc. A good character arc. There's a good character arc actually in Huckleberry Finn. But I'm going to choose from a more recent read, and that is Jessie. It is Jessie, isn't it? My gosh, my head for names. In Rainbow Milk by Paul Mendes, he starts off, he is a Jehovah's Witness from a very limited background, but he's gay. He becomes a male prostitute, and then eventually his character, I can't say too much, goes further again, and his pursuit for real love does have a genuine love, does have a real human connection, does have some type of conclusion by the end. That's about all I can say. But the character arc in this is probably the most memorable of the reads I've had this year. I do recommend this book to people, but very graphic sex scenes in this. He is a prostitute. It is described horrendously, not horrendously, vividly, graphically, in every detail that you could possibly want, and male parts of the anatomy very described. So that's if you maybe again I recommend the audio version of this as well. Audio comes up as part of this tag. Do recommend the audio version as well as reading this. But if you're listening to an audio, children, okay, no way near children or anybody who's anyway prudish or squeamish. Okay, all right. The next question is, A is for Abby. Okay, this is why I decided to film here and not in the bedroom, which I was going to do because the noise from my catch-up yesterday, or was that the day before? It was the day before. Was too loud. So can we do this? You are on a tripod and you just got stuck. Okay, now you can see a bookshelf there that's been protected from the terrors. Okay, I'm have to do this at the moment because they're breeding. Guys, say hello. It's not working. Okay. I'll input them. So they're sitting up there being naughty. I know, you didn't mean to be naughty. Oh, poor baby Budgie, eh? Poor baby Budgie. Okay, I hope that didn't make you seasick moving you like that. A is for Australia. What's the last book you read by an Australian author? That'd be Jane Harper's The Dry. I had to write it down. These are the questions, right? I just printed them out. I wrote it, I typed that bit out. Jane Harper's The Dry. Okay, enjoyed it at the time. Not good enough to reread. It's a crime novel set in the outback. Good if you want to feel the heat and the oppressiveness of the heat. The mystery cheated. Cheated because you couldn't possibly work it out from the clues within the book. That's cheat. So, I haven't kept it anyway. It wasn't good enough to reread. I will bring up other books in this tag that probably wouldn't normally keep because they're part of a series, and I think the series is going to develop into something good. Okay. A is for Austen. What you're reading for Jane Austen July? I am not reading for Jane Austen July. I will show you. I'll put an insert of the clip here. I'll put an insert of my huge TBR piles for the summer, and they don't include all the books. So I am not going to get through the books I have to read for the summer. So there's no way I can fit in Jane Austen. But if I was reading Jane Austen again, I would start from the beginning, and it would be Pride and Prejudice. When we were reading Huckleberry Finn, the other classes, because it was prescribed for what was the intercert, then it's now the junior cert in Ireland. So it's an exam you do when you're 15, 16. The other classes did Pride and Prejudice. And that wouldn't have been too bad to do, to be honest. So I really do love watching the movie Pride and Prejudice, but I've actually only read the book once when I was 16. But it was done purposely for once. So I would start from Jane Austen from the beginning. The idea of starting from the beginning is to work myself up to Persuasion, which was the prescribed book for my leaving certificate, which we do when we're 17, 18. And I have never been able to read that book since the leaving cert. So it would be a build up to that. So if I was reading Jane Austen, I would start off in publication order. I really should get to her some stage. A is for automobile. Your favorite literary automobile? Well, it's been a while since I've read horror, by the way. Christine, oh gosh, Charles Heathcote described this book brilliantly. If I can find it, I'll tag where he describes this book. It's not to be taken too seriously, okay? But I do love Christine. Who doesn't love a car that is actually evil from the beginning? If you want a bit of a scarier book that's actually a horror book, okay, Christine, evil car trying to kill you, is Nosferatu, an evil car driven by an evil person. Nosferatu being the license plates, and they're going to Christmas land. Also like the motorbike in this book. So Joe Hill being Stephen King's son, keeping it in the family. 2 thick books. This is why you will see my shelves are covered. The boys, the girls, the budgies, so cruel. A's for Anonymous. I don't have any authors that I read that are anonymous that I can remember. But Anonymous is a very generous person. I work for a charity, and one of the biggest donors we have on our system is Anonymous. Small donations, big donations, regular basis, about once every 2 weeks, you will definitely get a donation from Anonymous. So whoever you are, you get loads of royalty checks or loyalty checks or whatever they are. And thanks. On behalf of the Irish Motor Neuron Disease Association, thank you. You're very generous. The A is for autobiography. The last autobiography you read is actually a memoir. So it's the closest thing. Catherine Cho's Inferno, a memoir of motherhood and madness. So that's the closest thing to an autobiography I have, are the couple of memoirs I read recently. This is about when she has postnatal psychosis and her stay in a mental health hospital, mental health ward in the US. She's actually British. So it's quite compelling. It reads like a novel, and it's been about the place a bit. So if that's not something that's going to trigger you and you want to even try out the memoir genre, it's probably a good one to start with. A is for audiobooks. Are audiobooks real, of course? Are audiobooks, of course. The majority of the books I read, well, at least half of them recently, have been in both formats. And I read a few chapters one way, and then when I'm not available, I will read them the other way. They've flown out of the room, by the way. Apologies, I was coughing there. So B is for Bildungsroman, or Bildungsroman, or coming of age. The best coming of age novel is definitely Little Women. That's the point of Little Women. It's in the title. They're becoming Little Women. Actually, that could have been a good question for a character arc too. Could have been Jo from Little Women's character arc in that book. What would you recommend? Second question, what would you recommend for a beach read? Not the most compelling mystery, but Whitstable, The Pearl Mystery by Jo Wasmer, her sense of place in this seaside town, you see the little starfish with the blood coming out of it, is pretty amazing. So if you like to read about beachy things while you're on the beach and seafood while you're on the beach and that kind of thing, this one would be a good choice. B's for best. What's the best book you read this year? I forgot to actually get it out. It's in my back somewhere. So it's Toni Morrison's Sula. I haven't finished it, and about 3/4 way in. So she will have to mess up on this, but I think this is going to be my best read. I'm reading it at the moment with Animo. I will link Animo's channel down below. She needs more subscribers desperately. So because she does some interest, she reads exclusively secondhand books and tries to be zero waste. So there's an awful lot of additional extras for her channel. B is for bookshop or bookstore. What's your favorite? I am going to say my favorite at the moment, because it does change, is Books Upstairs. I will put a clip from Books Upstairs when I was recently there. I recently got, if you hold on, I'll get the book. So from books upstairs, I've gotten The Farkeeper's Daughter by Angelina Bulli. And this was their blind date with a book. So I am the ungainly product of a decaying social class, but I try not to let that get me down. Step into the drawing room and join my world of cruel, dark secrets, casual cruelty, and deep delusion. So it was beautifully wrapped. I just kept its little thing. They're wrapped in newspaper, and I can't remember the name, washi tape, whatever you call that, and it's all very prettily done. And the book was a book by Molly Keane, so it's a 1981 book. It's a Virago classic. So I think it was one of her last books she wrote, and it's Good Behaviour. I'd not even heard of Molly Keane, and I am now desperate to read her, because she's blurbed, and this book in particular, by Maggie O'Farrell and Hilary Mantel. So she's an Irish author I hadn't even heard of, and I've been deliberately looking for Irish female authors for a while now. So I'm so glad I went into the books upstairs. B is for books upstairs. B is for banned books. Is there a book you think that should be banned? At the moment, no, but it doesn't mean that there wouldn't ever be a book that I think should be banned. I'm sure there are places that books should not go. I'm sure that if there's a book that condoned child abuse, I would probably think that should be banned. That's probably the one thing that I've been very strict on for a long time. Yeah. And B is for Bible. What's your favorite book of the Bible, and trigger warnings do you think it should have? I am an atheist, but I was raised Catholic. So the only answer I can give you is I would say Luke's Gospel, because Luke was the scientist. Okay. B is for bookshelf. Show me a bookshelf. Okay, I'm going to some stage, I think on this, I was going to show you my TBRs. So you can see my TBRs, but look what I have to do with my bookshelves. Okay, this is actually two things. See what I have to do with them. So all my bookshelves at the moment are covered to prevent little pecks, as in beaks and pecking happening and occurring from the lovely budgies. Okay. There was a B for beagle prompt in this, in which I'm supposed to show the budgies again, who are being quiet now. Good for them. Well, they're not now. These are Brazil. Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist. It's been translated to 70 languages. Have you read any Paulo Coelho? And what do you think of his books? I have not read them, so I have no thoughts or opinions. Just hold on, I'm just going to see if I open up my Goodreads. Do I have anything marked for Brazil at all? Do I have Brazil marked? Because I do have a tendency to mark the countries in my lists. Brazil. Did I spell Brazil right there? Don't take my Goodreads in case I've misspelled Brazil. Oh, the Invisible Lives of Yurdris Gusamo. I just have to insert the picture because I'm too lazy to get the book. I did like that book. I gave it 5 stars, so I did. So can we just did I put anything? I didn't actually write a review. I usually don't. So that is the end of the tags. I do not know if I have enough memory on my computer to upload this long a video, so we shall see. I may have to split it in 2. Meanwhile, I hope whatever you're watching that you're enjoying it, and until next time, bye now.